Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if this is your first time. My name is Mackie, and it has been a while since I made a video on this channel. It's been like, I think 6 or 7 months, but I'm here now. But this is gonna be a little bit more of a deeper story, and I wanted to share. It's gonna be my personal story of family separation, immigration, and waiting to reunite with loved ones. I'm sharing the story for healing, but not for sympathy. And for anyone who has experienced family separation, abandonment, immigration trauma, or long periods of waiting, this is for you and this is for me. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be looking on the right because I did my notes and wrote what I want to talk about here so that I don't stumble or stutter as much as I can. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. So this is hard for me to talk about, but I want to share my story because I know I'm not the only one who has lived through this. But sometimes I genuinely thought I was the only one. I'm like, am I the only one that's lived through this? But I know that's not the case. So I flew from Ethiopia to the United States alone at the ripe age of 5, leaving behind my mom and my grandma and grandpa, and the family, all my family who raised me, that loved me deeply, unconditionally. But letting me go wasn't an abandonment, it was a sacrifice. They believed, as much as everybody in the third world country believes, is that America was the land of opportunities, which it is. Better than a lot of third world countries. It's not as much opportunity. We had, it is. So they gave me up. They gave up having me close so I could have a better future. But when I arrived, everything changed for me. It was my first time ever meeting my father, because he wasn't even there for my birth or anything. So I'm like, okay, like that's exciting. Like at least I know where I'm going. Yet, like, I don't know how much a 5-year-old's brain can comprehend anyways, but I knew I was going to meet my family, or my father. He is family. So nervous and excited over that when I was little. But soon after, he left me with a family that he didn't know, I didn't know, but his best friend knew. So it was like we barely knew these people, but we've heard good things, so that they can help me enroll into school, because I needed to do that. So I was very confused. I was scared and didn't understand why I wasn't going home. Why is my mom not here? Why is my grandma not here? Which is all confusing. So I did first grade with that family. I love them dearly today, but I did a whole year with them, but I was so misbehaved in school. One, I didn't even write, like when I wrote, it was gibberish. If a teacher looked at the paper, they'd be like, what am I looking at? I can't comprehend this. So of course I was retained until first grade. I had to repeat it again. But that's why I was graduating at 19, but that's okay. That's okay. At least I didn't make it at 20. At least I was still at 19. Because I would be so mad if I was 20 graduating, but that's not the point. But by the time I was 7, I was placed in a group home, and I'm like, is this forever? Like, can I stay here like now? Like, I feel like I've been moving too much. But then by 9 years old, my father had remarried, and I only saw him during off-campus visitations anyways. When he had remarried, I was hurt. I was upset in the moment. Because I'm like, why can't you remarry my mom? Why can't you marry my mom? She's in a different country, you can bring her here. That was my logic. And then 2, you had time to remarry but not have time for me. So like, that was my logic at age 9. But yet I'm a child, so of course I'm gonna be a little bit upset. But finally I ended up going and visiting, or met his wife. I thought she was awesome. She was cool in my opinion. However, unless I got memory loss, unless I blacked out, I don't know what exactly I did. I genuinely didn't do anything. I wish I had an explanation of what I did so that we can sometimes you want, like, what did I do to get to this? But there was no explanation. There was nothing. The most that my dad could tell me is the jealousy, but because I was another woman's daughter, so I don't know. Again, like, I really wish I knew. But by 14, I had stopped seeing them altogether because his wife told him it was either her or me to him, and she said that she'll divorce him if he does pick me. And he was like, well, and they had 2 boys at the time. They already had 2 kids. He's like, okay, don't want to separate my family. And he's like, you are 14, you have a group home, you have other families, I think you'll be fine. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that was the moment I learned conditional love, how it feels. So, but he did show up to my high school graduation in 2021. But I believe that was the last time I saw him. And he has other children now. I have 3 half brothers, but I've never really been a part of their lives. I don't know how much they speak about me. I feel like very little. Maybe not at all, but who knows. Now my brothers are like preteen, a teen, and like one is like 6, I guess. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, I just have never seen them. Or the last time I saw my 2 little brothers, half brothers, they were toddlers, and then the 3rd one I was banned by then before I saw him. But I am 24 years old now, and that was 10 years ago that I got banned. Wow. I haven't seen, again, my mother and my grandma since I was 5. So it's been 19 years, and it is hard waiting. It physically hurts some days. The longing feels overwhelming. But the moments I replay in my head of what the moment of us reuniting feels like, and that really truly keeps me going. There's another part of that. It's hard to talk about, but I have lost my native language, Amharic. Of course, because I spoke English going to school, and in the group home I go home to spoke English. However, I believe I could have retained, maybe, if I had consumed Amharic Ethiopian media or anything. I just genuinely didn't, so of course I lost it. However, my mom speaks Arabic and Amharic, and my grandma only speaks Amharic. And there are days where I worry about how well we communicate when we do finally see each other. But I also know this: love doesn't disappear because of language. My mom will recognize me and love me, and my grandma will recognize me despite everything. That has happened. So then, now I am a senior in college. I did take a gap year to protect my mental health, and I am proud of myself for surviving. Right now, I am waiting for my citizenship. This is really why I want to talk about it, because I feel like a lot of things are coming so close. We were reuniting, and my citizenship, like, everything is just so close but so far, I feel like. I applied back in September, and the waiting has been so painful. But waiting has been a theme for my entire life. Waiting to be chosen, waiting to belong, and waiting to go home. But I want to say something important. I am not waiting to be loved. That love has been there all along. To my 5-year-old self, you were never unwanted. You were brave. You survived something no child should have to experience. I didn't abandon you. I stayed. Here I am at 24. To my mom and grandma, I never stopped loving you. Even when I lost the words, my heart always knew where home was. And to my father, I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't erase the pain. It just means I choose healing. I'm sharing the story again for anyone who has been separated from their family, for anyone who had to grow up too fast, for anyone who is still waiting You're not weak. You're not broken. You're surviving. I didn't lose my family. We were separated. And one day, I will go home and reunite with my family. And I cannot wait for that day. And yeah, that was just a little thing I wanted to share. Thank you so much for staying all the way through. And I really hope this resonates with some of you or all of you. And I appreciate it so much. I'll be back with another video soon. So yeah, bye.